Hello and welcome to That Shooting Show. My name is Steve Anderson. I am your humble host. Want to first of all thank Walther Firearms for being the title sponsor of this program and the proud host of AndersonShooting.com in general. Love the Walther PDP steel frame pistol. It is the finest competition pistol ever made for production. Carry optics, limited optics, whatever you want, it's the finest, and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, that's going to be your problem. Well, it's not going to be your problem. It will be your fault, but it will not be your problem because Walther is going to give you your money back. The only 30-day money-back guarantee in the industry that I am aware of. And speaking of things that I'm aware of, Hunter's HD Gold is the only eyewear that I wear. When I'm aware, I'm wearing eyewear. Let's see what else we got. Targets USA manufactures the finest steel targetry on the planet. CR Speed makes the finest gun handling gadgetry you can wrap around your waist or anywhere else. The AMG-lab.com Commanderson timer continues to turn heads and blow minds by putting the time into the tablet. And OutdoorDynamics.net remanufactures the finest competition ammunition you can dispense. And ShootingSportsInnovations.com is a lot to type because there's a lot to see when you get there. Speaking of a lot to see when you get there, I want you to go to AndersonShooting.com and click upcoming classes to see where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing. We want to see you. We want you to come get some. We want you to reach your potential in a record amount of time. We got classes coming up with Joey Sauerland in California, also in Michigan. I just booked one for myself in Illinois at the Aurora Gun Club in a town I believe is called Waterman. Well, right now I got to be Waterman. And we got a few more in the books. Also, if you want to do a private session or a small group, it's got to be at your location. I'm no longer in Ohio. I'm in Kentucky. Do not have access to my Ohio shooting range. Probably never again, but that's okay. I just got to come to you, so you can't come to. I got to come to you because you can't come to me. Make your own jokes. Doesn't matter. Private lessons, small groups need to occur on weekdays. Please figure out what you want to do and get a hold of me. The private and small group training is $1,000 per day for up to 4 people, plus actual expenses. So I've gone ahead and told you that, so we don't need to go over that. Just tell me when you want to do it, and we will get it done. I promise you, you will reach your potential in a record amount of time. And speaking of reaching your potential in a record amount of time, I have a confession to make. This is not a Walther PDP steel frame, but it is one of my favorite guns. It's actually never been fired, and we're going to use this. This was given to me by my friends at Vance Outdoors when I retired from working there and went full-time. And I apologize, it's not a Walther steel frame PDP. It is in no way superior except potentially the finish. But we're going to use it today because we're going to talk about what you really want to talk about. Everybody stop the presses. Stop what you're doing. Alert the media. We're going to mention the unmentionables. Anderson's going to talk about grip. Yes, Anderson's going to talk about grip. We're going to talk about what's important, why it's important, what you should do, what you should not do. All right, so let's start with some problems, okay? All right, here we go. Classic teacup, okay? You'll see this a lot in new shooters. Strong hand has to do all the work. Support hand is doing nothing, so you don't want to do that. The next thing we're going to see, let's call this the gapper, okay? That is not awesome. If you fire the gun in this condition, it's going to flop around like an angry bass in your bass boat. We don't want that, so let's rule those out. Now, getting into some normal grip problems, the most common one I see is insufficient support hand touching the gun, okay? If I get this wrapped around and all I have is finger on finger is not what you want. Palm on butt is much, much better. If you get your palm on the butt and your finger on the finger, finger touching fingers, you're doing pretty good. And you got to make sure that you're making contact with the gun. I'm going to push on this as hard as I can, right? Placing my palm into the butt as firmly as possible. See that? You have evidence of that, okay? Nice and firm. See that whiteness fade away when the palm comes off the butt? It means I got a good purchase on the butt with the palm. That's what you want. We'll come back to that in just a minute. So here's the deal. The shooting training community is obsessed with grip right now. Completely obsessed. And I am not completely except today. I'm not completely obsessed with grip. Yes, it's important. Yes, we're going to talk about it. I get it. The problem is the training community is obsessed with grip for the wrong reasons. That's just the bottom line. Okay, yes, it's important, but it's not important for rip and splits at 25 yards without a second sight picture. That's where I get cranky. Oh, I've got this perfect grip. Now I can just rip doubles one to me. Oh. Okay, we're going to get to that in a minute. Just bear with me. I'm getting fired up here. We're going to mention the unmentionables. And yes, we're going to get technical. There will be no mental game discussion of any. There will be less discussion about the mental game today than normal. So we're going to talk about technical stuff. So the industry is obsessed with this individual finger pressure. Okay, so if we hear that, what you got to do is exert 12% pressure with this pinky right here. I don't know how to do that. I do not know how to put 12% into this pinky. Okay, if I did, I'd put it somewhere else. And locking the wrists. Okay, well, sure. There is a benefit, obviously, to camming this hand forward. That makes a lot of sense. I personally am not aware of a way to independently lock my wrist. Hang on, let's try it. Lock. Can't do it. Maybe I just don't understand it, which is fine. But there is sort of a downward situation going on here. Call that a downward dog, with the downward doggy style. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so that's what it needs to look like. I am not aware, pardon me, I dropped my notes. I am not aware of a way to put a specific amount of pressure as a percentage into a certain finger. If I could, I'd put it somewhere else. All right, so push-pull, we hear about that a lot. Some really smart people talk about that, okay? What they want you to do is push with this hand and pull with this hand. So what's interesting about that is I'm now activating some upper Seeklanders here. That seems fine, right? But my normal grip kind of does that. I personally don't want to be pushing forward with this hand actively. If some of that happens, that's cool. This is probably going to get pulled back a little bit in the normal grip, but you want to be gripping it from front to back as opposed to side to side. Okay, front to back's a lot more helpful than side to side. Boy, we're getting awful technical. There's another thing you can try. So I looked this up one time. I don't have a good prop here in my studio of awesomeness. But what you can do is you can take a target stick, you can take a broom handle, whatever you got, and hold it like a gun and duplicate the sensation of trying to push it into the ground. That activates some different Seeklanders, some different muscles. And then if you can grip the gun, activating those same muscles, some interesting things happen. On an iron sight gun, the front and rear sight tend to rise at the same time. As opposed to doing this, it kind of does this. That's interesting. I personally don't know if that's worth retraining my entire grip. If I learned that when I was brand new, I could A/B that and see what happens. So these are some things people like to talk about. But the issue is, when people get a perfect grip, they tend to think, okay, now I'm free from a second sight picture. Now I can be ripping splits. I can rip jailbreak splits, 14s, 15s, 13s. Well, maybe you can. The targets are close. That's cool. We call that the blast zone. That's perfectly fine. But it doesn't extend to infinity. It does not do that. And the problem I have with most discussions about grip, people aren't saying it. Smart people aren't. Sorry, my hat's getting a little weird here. Yeah, Chris Long from Walther. I need a new hat. A little rogue damage here. Actually, I'm going to keep it forever because of that. Now, you cannot rip splits into infinity with a perfect grip. If you try, you will fail. That's just all there is to it. Okay? All right, so splits are the dumbest place to save time on stages. If we look at the individual gap between shots in the average stage, depending on how big the stage is, what's going on, what you're going to find is periods of non-shooting that involve movement can be the largest chunks of time. Then you're going to find time to first maybe as a, it's not going to be the largest, but it's in there, okay? For sure, it's longer than splits, okay? Transitions between targets is probably going to be the cumulatively largest amount of time. 30 round stage, 15 targets, time between those is going to add up a lot. That's where I want you to go making your money. Doing transitions correctly is the greatest reward for the least risk. It will increase speed. It will increase accuracy. We spend 2 hours on that in virtually every class, showing you how to reduce the amount of time spent not shooting on your transitions. Far more important than splits. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about grip. Now, let's talk about what is required to fire a good shot with a handgun. It's very simple. You need to maintain an acceptable sight picture until the bullet leaves the barrel. Now, that's more insightful than you might be aware of, right? Maintain an acceptable sight picture until the bullet leaves the barrel. That's what you want to be doing, right? I've got my sight picture. I've got my sight picture. I've got my, here. Well, we use the, I don't even know if this striker will set. Let's try it and see. Don't know the manual of arms for, there we go. Okay, mag safety is cool. Perfect. Okay, so here's what most people are doing. Okay. Oh, I got a great grip. I got a great grip. Here comes my shot. Okay. They did not maintain an acceptable sight picture until the bullet left the barrel. They maintained an acceptable sight picture until they whacked the trigger. And then the gun dipped before the bullet left the barrel. And they want to adjust their sights. They want to get an even better grip. They're not seeing what is happening. Now, proper support hand grip will fight some of that. Meaning, if I'm holding that gun with my support hand nice and tight, palm on the hiney, right where it needs to be, everything's going good, I can hit, it requires a little less trigger discipline, a little less trigger subtlety to maintain the acceptable sight picture until the bullet leaves the barrel. So that's good. That's what I want to talk to you about. But if something happens to disturb that acceptable sight picture, you need to see that as or before the gun fires. And your mystery mics, your deltas, oh, that's the issue I got. It's always alpha mic. It's always alpha delta. Well, that has nothing to do with grip. It has to do with your belief that a great grip renders you free from a second sight picture. That's why I get so frustrated when people go down the grip road. That's why I get so frustrated. I made a lot of money in Brazil teaching people to look for a second sight picture. What in the world are we doing? Cadencia! I get it. There's a cadence that you expect to hear or that you want to hear. But if you dispense that cadence irrespective of an acceptable sight picture, cadencia is going to have some splaining to do. Mystery mics, mystery deltas, penalty shots. It's going to be bad. So let's not do that. Now, here's the deal. Grip simply accelerates the next acceptable sight picture. Okay? You don't need a good grip to shoot accurately, but you do need a good grip to shoot fast and accurately. That you do need grip for. Okay? Because here's why. A handgun, when you shoot it, goes up, down, shimmy, shimmy, settle. That's what it does. Okay? If I have a good grip and I can catch that second sight picture as it comes into view and more of a continuous sight picture, we'll get back to that in a minute. But if I'm shooting slowly, up, down, shimmy, shimmy, settle. Okay? Look at it this way. Up, down, shimmy, shimmy, settle. Okay? If I can get a good grip and I can watch the front sight come back down, I can catch it before the shimmy, shimmy, settle. That is a good thing. That is something I will endorse with grip as we're getting a second sight picture or the tail end of a continuous sight picture. And what that would look like is, okay, let's see, it's hard to do with the camera. Let's do it this way. Two sight pictures. Continuous sight picture. Okay, I'm watching it come back down. I'll even do it for you here. These are awful sights, but that's okay. Boom, boom. That one went low. Let's do that again. Boom, boom. That's much better. So, the support hand supports everything. It must contact the gun in a meaningful manner. We want the palm on the hiney, right? I'll show you that again. You want to leave plenty of room here, right there by the VH logo, right? So that the support hand comes on. Yes, this hand could go down a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Doesn't need to be, hyper exaggerated, but it, come down a little bit. Most importantly, this palm needs to touch the gun. Okay, that needs to happen. Thumbs aren't super important. I generally like to put them toward the target. And the gas pedal is awesome. I love them for a place to put my thumb. Everybody needs a place to put their thumb. So I got my palm on the hiney. That's right where I want it, and I got a place for my thumb. I know where it belongs. Not a lot of pressure, right? You don't. When you get the thumb where it needs to go, you don't need to put a lot of pressure, right? That can complicate things. You might get a little pushback. That's how you know you're doing it right, when you get a little pushback on the thumb. So, where are we? I'm getting distracted. Mentioning unmentionables. Let's see. And it should account for the majority of the grip on the gun. I don't want to get into percentages. I'm not going to tell you 60, 40, 70, 30, whatever it is, but here's what I will tell you. If you death grip the gun with your trigger hand, you lose independent dexterity in your trigger finger, right? If you make a claw, it's very difficult to move that finger dexterously, right? But if I relax a little bit, look how dexterous I am. That's a finger that can make some happiness right there. That's good stuff, okay? But if I death grip it, I'm going to be doing damage. I'm going to get freezy. I'm going to get rigid. It's going to be abrupt. It's going to be painful. It's not going to be good, okay? But if I relax this hand a little bit, look at these great things I can do with my finger, okay? That finger's very talented, knows exactly what to do. So, where were we? I'm getting so distracted here. Getting me all hot and bothered. Let's see. Down here. Excess strong hand tension causes lots of problems. The fingers behave together, okay? So once again, if I'm death gripping this, it locks up my primary digit. Very difficult to operate the trigger dexterously. And let's see, excess tension, of course. This is what causes trigger freeze, okay? My stage was going great, then I got trigger freeze. Well, why'd you get trigger freeze? Because you tensed up your firing hand, almost certainly because you were thinking about going fast. Or you were thinking about crushing the gun with your grip. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I know what the next point is because I was there when I wrote it, but let's see if I got it. Oh, yes. Crushing the gun with your strong hand is a great example of something that can't be fixed by not thinking about it. If I say to you, whatever you do, don't think about crushing the gun with your strong hand. Whatever you do, think about anything you want, but don't think about that. That's what you picture. That's what you tend to think about. Instead, shift your attention to this hand. Okay, if you want to think about grip, primarily in training, shift your attention to your support hand. Say, okay, I'm going to squeeze that. When I squeeze this, this relaxes a little bit, and that's a good thing. I can't relax this on demand by itself. Okay? But what I can do is devote my attention to this hand. Okay? Oh, and by the way, again, palm on butt, super important. And then I'm locked in here, and my trigger finger is relaxed a little bit. Now I can do all kinds of good stuff with no trigger freeze. Thinking about trigger freeze, talking about trigger freeze exacerbates trigger freeze. Diverting your attention to the support hand grip will make it much, much better. All right, so where are we at here? Support hand supports sight picture. Yes, it allows predictable return. That's good. And it allows variable trigger pulls to support acceptable sight pictures until the bullet leaves the barrel. Trigger control is like iron sights with regard to what's tolerable, what's required. For example, with iron sights, if I want to shoot myself in the chest right here, that's all the set picture I need. I'm good. But if I want to shoot something finer, I need a little bit more vision for iron sights. Your trigger operation is exactly the same. Target is close and big, slap the living crap out of that, and you have to do it quickly. You're not going to feel the reset. There's not going to be any take up or anything like that. You're going to be honking the trigger pretty good, and a good group will support that. It won't cause a problem. But you do need to keep your vision on the sights during this process. See, everything's down. It all comes back to what you're going to see. If you're seeing what you need to see, doing what you need to do, you're going to have success. It is that simple. If you're not seeing what you need to see, you're not doing what you need to do, but you got a great grip, it's going to suck. It's going to suck bad. All right, so the support hand maintains the acceptable sight picture during the actuation of the gun that provides an acceptable sight picture until the bullet leaves the barrel. Are we clear on that? Your drag-ons, your drag-offs. Oh, I missed it because of the transition. You didn't miss it because of the transition. You missed it because you started your transition before the bullet left the barrel. That's what you did, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. Let's get this figured out. Grip is not going to change that. It's simply not. You can't squeeze the gun hard enough to make the bullet leave the barrel sooner while you've already started your transition. Write that down. You're starting your transition with the bullet still in the barrel. That's why you're having drag-ons and drag-offs. That's why you're struggling. Sorry, I thought of something that made me smile. I was trying to be stern. Something, someone, who knows? Okay, what happens when the bullet leaves the barrel? Somebody's shouting in their Subaru right now. Hang on. Gotta get my computer back on. What happens when the bullet leaves the barrel? The sight's left. Okay? We'll show it to you a little bit more dramatically. By the way, the one-handed chamber check. Oh, that's such big money. Chicks dig the one-handed chamber check, right? Super hot. Now, what happens when the bullet leaves the barrel is the sights go up. If you see that, that will tell you exactly where the bullet went. That's where the bullet went, wherever the sights lift from. And if you can see that, and the cool thing is, this is where I like a lot more grip. The better grip you have on the gun, the more it limits that motion. I used to think it slowed it down a little bit. That's really not possible. But I do think it limits it and makes it easier to see the lift. That is where the bullet goes. That is something with grip I can get behind. A lot of things I can get behind. Now, this is the best reason to have a great grip. But it should not be a conscious thought when you're shooting for score. If you go out there and you're thinking about grip, I promise you your visual patience is going to go down. I need you to have more visual patience than a busy eye doctor. That's what I need you to do. Okay? A great grip will speed all of this up and allow you to see what you need to see faster. It won't allow you to, got to be careful here. It won't allow you to shoot faster by itself, but it will allow you to see what's happening faster. It'll happen faster. You'll see it faster. Now you'll be able to shoot faster. And that's good stuff. But there's only one environment, only one, in which grip can be a conscious thought while you're in competition, while you're shooting for score. Only one. Okay? If your stage plan is 100% rock solid reliable, if your sight picture patience, if your visual patience is 100% rock solid reliable, and your trigger activation, according to the various levels of trigger activation, if all that's 100% subconscious and reliable, you can think about grip all you want. And that means you're not going to have any bad shots because visual patience is 100%. That means you're not going to have any brain farts because you told me your stage plan was subconscious. That means you're not going to be thinking about your feet because you told me you had a subconscious stage plan. If the only thing that you're thinking about is your grip, you're going to get everything else on a subconscious level. Most intermediate to advanced shooters are not mature enough in the mental game to do this. They're just not. They're just not. They're firing the gun without an acceptable sight picture, primarily because they think a great grip will let them do that. And why in the world are we risking points for the least amount of time spent not shooting? Why are we doing that? Somebody's got to explain this to me. Somebody has got to send me an email and go, okay, all right, here's the deal. I had the shortest amount of time in between targets. I had the best first shot. And the biggest number I got beat by 0.03 of a second on every stage with the exact same points. I don't believe it. It's just not, it's possible, but it's not realistic. Okay? Unless your average split on a close target is 50 or higher, you do not have a split problem. Or it's not your biggest problem. Okay? I'm just telling you guys, I'm trying to help. So, in dry fire, let's just get okay, so that goes back to thinking about grip. If everything else you're doing is 100% subconscious and 100% reliable, think about grip all you want. 99.9% of you are not ready for that, and you're trying to do it anyway. The doubles drill, okay? I recently had a long conversation with the true inventor of the doubles drill, and it's not who you think. And what we found out was the doubles drill was designed to diagnose a specific problem. That's what it was designed to do. It was not designed to teach you that a perfect grip can let you rip perfect splits on one sight picture into infinity. It's being misinterpreted from its original design. And the inventor wishes they could take it back. I wish I'd never created it. They're using my powers for evil. It's okay, it happens. So, It's dangerous. Yes, I can see going out there, what does my gun do? What does my hand do? What's going on? But the most important thing is, what are the sights doing? Your bad second shot is not caused by grip. Your bad second shot is caused by the lack of a second sight picture or the tail end of a continuous sight picture. That's what is causing the bad shot. All these things people say cause bad shots. Oh, it's a bad shot because I was leaning. Oh, it's a bad shot because I was moving. Oh, it's a bad shot because of grip. It's nonsense. These things contribute to the unacceptable sight picture that produces the unacceptable shot. That's what is happening. That is what is happening. Your gun went off and you didn't see where the sighting mechanism was as or during or before the gun went off. That's your fault. That ain't grip's fault. That ain't, I was moving. Well, the moving didn't cause the bad shot. The movement didn't cause the bad shot. The sweet Filipino kick out didn't cause the bad shot. What causes the bad shot is you operating the gun in a reckless manner, right? Okay, here we go. I've done my doubles drill. Pew! I know, stupid mag safety. Okay. Always do your reloads nice and high, even your administrative reloads. Okay, index finger goes right here. Guns at a 45. You see that mag well? That mag can't go anywhere else. Okay. If I get the tip where it needs to go, extra pressure, can't go anywhere else. Okay? Can't go anywhere else. Now, here's the deal. I'm going out and doing my doubles drill. Where'd that one go? It went high. How about this one? That one went low. That is what's causing the errant shots. Not insufficient grip, it's insufficient visual patience. I knew I was going to get worked up today. That's okay. It's okay. I'm super happy, super excited, got a lot to look forward to. This is awesome. So you want a quicker second shot. Let a great grip return you to an acceptable sight picture, not a quick split. That's how you get a quicker second shot. Now, if your splits are in the 40s and 50s and you're getting two sight pictures, you're a victim of up, down, shimmy, shimmy, settle. Okay? You learn to catch that sucker a little sooner, man, you are good to go. G2G. So let's talk about, so that's also really important, okay? One sight picture out of your blast zone, not awesome. Two sight pictures is better, but what's even better than that is a continuous sight picture. Grip will reduce the amount of it'll reduce the amount of rise. It'll accelerate the return. If you see that happens, you can be ready to shoot as soon as those sights return to being acceptable. Should we get into predictive shooting? Should we do that? That would make really good clickbait. All right, so that's fine. We'll talk about predictive shooting. Predictive shooting, as I understand it, means I know what my sights are going to be doing as the gun comes back from recoil. I know where they're going to be. I know what they're going to be doing. So I can decide to fire as that process is happening instead of waiting for it to stop and confirming it. Cool. We're there. Now, if you could ever make a case for extensive amounts of live fire, the Eric Graffel model of live fire, to make a case for that, to increase your ability to shoot predictively, which means knowing what the sights are going to do instead of waiting for them to do it and confirming it, a ton of live fire ammo will extend that distance and make that more predictable, more reliable. A ton of live fire. I'm not telling you to go out and do it. I'm just telling you that if that's something you're interested in, a bunch of live fire is going to be required. Continuous sight picture is better than two separate sight pictures. Now let's talk about grip and dry fire. It's really important that the formation of your grip be subconscious. That's really important. So what I'm going to do, so here I am in dry fire. I'm taking more attention than normal to make sure the palm hits the hiney. Okay? More attention than normal. I've never even fired this gun. Okay? And by the way, every factory gun, with the possible exception of the Walther PDP steel frame, the grips is too slippery. If you've got a stock Glock without any grip surface enhancement, that sucks. Especially as soon as your hands get sweaty. You know, now guns move, it's moving around inside the hands. That's awful. I like the grip enhancement. My personal is like gymnast chalk or weightlifting chalk. I don't personally care for the paste and the cream. Although the visual is hilarious every time you put it on, that's a lot of fun on the range to do that. Here, have some hand cream. Yuck, 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 yuck. Make your own jokes. But, holy shit. Oh, sorry. There's people here doing work on the house. And also this area is heavily surveilled, so you just never know what you're going to hear. It's not haunted that I'm aware of. It's currently haunted by contractors. Okay, no big deal. Where was I? Grip surface. Grip tape, sandpaper tape, all that's wonderful. It needs to be as aggressive as you can tolerate to limit the amount that the gun moves in the hand. Okay, that will help your grip. Now let's talk about dry fire. It's formed as a conscious thought, right? I'm using my brain, my conscious thought, to position things, okay? Ideally, I want to touch the trigger at the very bottom of my fingernail. That's where I want to be touching the trigger, okay? I want this hand to not be tense. I want it to be somewhat relaxed, and I'm going to do that by getting this guy really involved. I'm going to make sure that my pressure is from front to back instead of on the side, and that's good. And I just realized when I focus on squeezing from front to back instead of pushing it on the grips, I get a natural pulling sensation that may be what people are talking about, okay? So that's what that looks like. Once I've used my conscious mind to evaluate the options and make decisions, I want to repeat that until that is subconscious, no longer requires conscious thought, okay? That's what needs to happen. I believe that's a separate process from drawing the gun. It's a separate process. It's just my opinion. You know, you guys are here for my opinion. It is always worth what you pay for it here at AndersonShooting.com. Now, so let's talk about grip pressure in dry fire. You are not going to be able to sustain a competition live fire grip for the duration of the extended live fire session, okay? And if you do, and particularly if you're over 35, you're going to get shooter's elbow. Maybe younger than that, but if you try to have a perfect competition grip for 45 minutes, you're going to get shooter's elbow. I don't think it's necessary. Neither do I want you to intentionally relax your grip. I just want you to grip and do your dry fire. Don't even want you thinking about it that much, because if you think about it, it becomes a conscious skill. That's guaranteed to mess it up. That's one of the problems with thinking about grip. If you go to a match, you go to a stage, and you actively think about your grip. Okay, now I'm going to put 12% pressure on this pinky right here. I'm going to do that. If that has become subconscious and you now choose to think about it, your conscious mind has to relearn it on the clock, right? The conscious mind teaches the subconscious how to do things, okay? That's from here to here, okay? Then the conscious mind moves on to Pretty Girls and Sunsets. Okay, future plans. But while you're doing that, information is being sent to the self-image regarding this process. Your opinion of this process is as important as the process itself. So, don't need a ton of grip focus for an extended dry fire period. But what you should do is finish your training in match mode, in which you do get an acceptable grip. Competition appropriate grip. Okay, so let's remember the support hand's doing most of the work, so this guy can operate the trigger. And what's super important, you've got all this stuff figured out. Okay, a great grip supports the rapid reacquisition of acceptable sight pictures. That's what it's for. And let's go back to trigger control for just a minute. The absolute best way to get a subconscious trigger control, group shooting. You don't believe me until you come to class. Every class we shoot groups. Strong hand, weak hand, freestyle. Oh, and when you're shooting one-handed, right, a lot of excess hand tension here will for sure impact how you're operating that trigger. So yes, you need to hold on to the pistol firmly, but if you death grip that thing, you're going to have some trouble. And by the way, this is what an intruder would see. Yes, hello. Say hello to my striped friend. All right, so that's Anderson talking about grip. It's really all I got for you right now. Yes, it's important. It's important because it supports the rapid reacquisition of acceptable sight pictures. That's why it's important. Does reduce the amount of time in between shots when done correctly, but again, only because it supports the reacquisition of acceptable sight pictures. Okay? I want to thank you for tuning in. Those of you that have noticed my increased habitude, if you know, you know. I'll be able to tell you here before too long, but I can't tell you right now. All I can tell you is my life is looking up in ways I never thought would be imaginable just a few short months ago. So if you know, you know. All right. Now, go to andersonshooting.com, click on upcoming classes to see where we're going to be at and what we're going to be doing. We've got 3 classes. I've been saying Wednesday. It's actually Tuesday. The next 3 Tuesdays in August, 2 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m. If you've been on the fence about mental management, I need you to sign up for that now. Now. You don't need to email me any more questions. You just need to get off the fence, come on down here, and get this mental management thing done. You've got to do it, okay? You've got to. Then you can see all the classes we're doing with Joey Sauerland. You can see all the places I'm going to be by myself. It's going to be awesome. So let's get this done. Let's get together. Let's find our true potential. Let's quit being afraid. Let's quit being worried. Let's not be alone anymore, right? Let's get together and let's expand our potential. We can do that. I can help you do that. It's going to be fine. You don't need to be afraid. Come to class. Tell me what you want. I'll help you get it. It's that simple. And I won't stop until you get it. Well, I won't stop until you do. But I ain't going to stop until you get it. If you want to quit early, that's on you. Okay? So thanks for tuning in. It's been my pleasure talking to you today about grip and the fact that all it does is support the reacquisition of acceptable sight pictures. So until we meet again on the phone, on the Zoom, on the range, or anywhere else, in the Subaru, in the treehouse, wherever it is you want to get together, be like me, do what I do, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, love you, bye, and get to work.